The fact that Dungeons and Dragons has remained so popular after so many iterations and so many problems, and it's been so close to death so many times, it's quite an interesting thing, to be fair. Books have been written from Shannon Appleklein's Designers and Dragons to Of Dice and Men, and now Slaying the Dragon by Ben Riggs. This is described as a secret history of Dungeons and Dragons, so I have bought it and devoured it. Has this book been worth the amount of money I've spent to get my hands on it? Welcome to the GMS Magazine RPG review videos. Dungeons and Dragons has been a game that's been incredibly important to the lives of way too many people, like myself, and let's face it, without it, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. Probably we wouldn't be even having this kind of gaming world now. Who knows? The fact is that that company really changed things. Now, this book, written by Ben Riggs, it's not as much of an academic research as Designers and Dragons. Why do I say this? Well, in this case, Ben has gone over a number of years and interviewed a few dozen people a few dozen times and gathered as much information as possible about not just what the happenings in the company were, but how affected were people, how decisions were made, and what the philosophy of TSR was up until it was bought by Wizards of the Coast. And then it gives us a very small introduction as to what happened when Peter Atkinson took over the company. The book itself is a novel-sized book. There isn't really anything too special about it in terms of layout, which is just a one single column and that's it. The spacing is very good, the wording is very good, the font is very good. I had no problems at all reading it, as in at all. And there is a small insert somewhere in the book with a number of images, a number of photographs featuring people like James Lowther and Zeb Cook, works from Brom, etc., Jen Cons, etc., etc. There aren't, alas, very many. I would have loved to see more of this. That would have been incredible. And I wonder if, there could be a possibility of a visual history of TSR, where it's all told through the photographs and the newspaper snippets, covers that were used throughout its history. I think that would be absolutely incredible, even if it's just to see the visual evolution of the company from beginning till the end. That would be great. But this is what we get for this, and it's a very tantalizing glimpse into the people and what happened over there, which is very good. However, I have two things production-wise I'm a bit puzzled about. I just don't understand them. Firstly, the top camera hopefully will be able to catch how there is a mistake here in cutting. I don't know if a zoom in could be done so we can see this a little bit more clearly, because the pages, not all of them, have the correct size. So can you see how there is, it's a bit out of focus, but that's fine, there's a little bit of a problem with the pages in that they're not all cut at the same length. Now that is rather irritating, because when you're flicking through the pages, they don't go bump, and suddenly there's a bump in the number of pages that go, but that is kind of annoying, very annoying. And the other thing is that I cannot say how accurate the index is, because I was looking for Dragon Quest, because it's one of the games that I have on my shelves, and it appears apparently on page 171. However, if I come to page 171, and eventually I will be able to find it, which is here, I cannot find it anywhere. I just cannot find that anywhere. I can find the Dragon Quest, the Dragon Strike, but I can find Dragon Quest. So I haven't checked the rest of the index, but it just doesn't appear on this page. So I'm baffled. Apart from that, the book is ginormously entertaining because it hasn't been written with a very academic idea in mind, and that's not to say that it's not rigorous, but it's not academic. So there are quotations from people who have, given their words to this book. We have people like Margaret Weis, Bob Salvatore, James Lauder, the very same Peter Arneson. I mean, anybody who was anybody is in this book, except Lorraine Williams, who declined to be in this book because apparently she is fed up with justifying herself, which, to be perfectly honest, considering how many incredibly stupid decisions were made on her part and how insanely petty she was in some cases, I can understand why one would get really tired of having to justify having been a shit to so many people so many times. But hey, what can we say? The truth is that she also took the company to quite some heights, even though you have to read the book. Seriously, it was unbelievable. Really unbelievable. If you are a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, you have to take a look at this book. There are some really upsetting parts as well, like the times when everything that was, all the dioramas, all the minis, how those were completely lost, as in literally all the exhibits that were taken to Gen Con over years and years and years and years and years. Monte Cook was one of the two people who last saw them, and after that they were taken to a landfill. I'm not joking, that comes at the end of the book, and I got a lump in my throat when I read that. It was very upsetting. So it is told from a point of view of candor that I really loved, and it leaves one thing very, very clear, that Dungeons and Dragons has survived because the people who created it, and has gone down because of the people who managed it. And it seems like it's always been the same case. I cannot recommend this book enough. I have loved every page. I know an awful lot of the people mentioned in this book, and I have got such a renewed respect for some of them, namely Lauder and Arneson. Wow. Big mega wow. There are some omissions. I didn't read enough about Frank Menzer in there, for instance. On Tim Kask it appears, but not a lot. We hear more about Jim Ward, for example. So there are some people who don't appear as much as others, and I wish they had. But trust me on this one. Take a look at this book. You are going to facepalm so many times at the nonsensical decisions that were taken at the time. But I promise you will have a great time. It will be bittersweet. Depends on how invested you were in the company. It will be bitter rather than sweet, but it will be bittersweet. I have loved it. I have absolutely loved Slaying the Dragon. So Ben Riggs, part 2, please. Thank you. If you've already read it, I'd love to hear what you have to say. But until the next time, thank you so much for being there, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.